Hunt 1.2. Sam. I walked around for a little while and tried to assess the situation with the Queen. Although I never got her name, it's kind of irrelevant. I mean, we hunters don't want to get attached, which is why we just simply refer to them as the Queen. But when she told us the baby's name, Elizabeth, it was quite remarkable. I don't blame her for wanting to get protection for her child. Any mother would do so. It's what a mother does best. I've seen it way too many times. It's not that Connor is doing a bad job. It's just that I don't trust it. How do I explain this in a way that makes sense? Connor is a good warrior, as far as I'm aware, but this is too delicate of a situation for him. He's not meant to be able to handle people, because, well, it's just not simple. The last person that was near him was Zach, and wanted to kill him for simply breathing air. But, well, it's about time that someone finally gave him a chance. I intended on seeing this hunt through, even if it was with a monster. It was about a few hours before dark hit. I wanted to ensure that we were ready for tonight. We only have a few days before we're required to return. Now, yes, the 2 weeks is standard, and also it's a way to keep things in check, but it's also a way for other hunters to test their skill. We don't do this loyalty hunt. I'm worried what will happen to Connor. He might die, he might not, I don't know. But we only have a few days left to make this right, and I intend to see that through. I saw Connor sitting in the garden. I was surprised. He was talking to the Queen, and she was holding her child. The two looked like they had gotten along really well. As a stranger makes new friends every day. And a powerful friend at that, it looks like. They talked for about a moment. I wanted to get in and see what was going on. I was quite curious. Then I slipped on a rock. Connor pulled out his sword and said, "Who's there? Show yourself, now." I pulled my hands out over to the edge so they can see I'm unarmed. "It's just me. It's just me. Don't worry." He put his sword away and said, "Why are you sneaking around?" "Well, one, you had me curious. What exactly are you two talking about? I mean, if it's okay." "We were just talking about what happened with Balin." "Oh, I really don't recommend we talk about that subject. It's not something the hunters want to discuss outside the Hunter's Order." "Why? The world knows about it. The world knows that we were all slaughtered." "Yes, as true as that is, it's just not something we want to share. It's a sign of weakness, as you can see." He nodded and said, "Very well. So what do you propose we do next?" "Well, honestly, I don't really have the answer to that question, because there's just not a lot of answers to any questions we have. So what you're telling me is nothing." "Pretty much, yeah." And the Queen said, "Do you have a potential lead on what did this? What's doing this to my darling?" "I have some theories, but I still have to work out a few kinks. I just need to see them one more time, and then it all makes sense." "But how exactly?" Let me try to make this in a way that makes sense to both of you. I have a theory on what the creature is, but something about it just doesn't make sense to me. What is it? The highest possible option is a Arias. Arias? A snake person? That's my likely option. They camouflage, they leave scales, which we did find, by the way, in your attic. I said in air quotes. They've been living there for some time, it looks like. Probably are watching us right now. So how do we deal with the camouflage? Simple. We just get them covered in something, and it should hypothetically work. Connor sat there, confused. So do you have a plan? Or are we going to continue to walk around like chickens with our heads cut off? I looked at him and scowl. The way he talked was quite admirable, not gonna lie. But he shouldn't have done that. It was too risky. But I digress. He is a hunter now. Or is going to be, I don't know. There was a single flower in the center of a garden that was off to the side of the main garden. It was a simple garden, nothing extreme. Then Connor walked over there, almost as instinct. The Queen said, "What's he doing?" I shrugged and shook my head. Then she said, "Oh, it's time for Elizabeth to go to bed. We've got a long night ahead of us." I nodded. I'll go check on Connor. Make sure he's okay. I walked over to him and I saw him staring at a small flower. He was on his knees, so it was very clearly captivating to him. "What are you doing?" I asked. "What is this thing?" Grass around was burnt, or what I assumed was burnt. The ground was black. Yet the flower still stood. I can imagine that's what captivated him. I believe that's called the orris flower. The orris. What makes it so special? Well, one, as you can see, it's so completely dead around it, but it still grows. Why? I shrugged. I don't know anything about flowers, believe me. Yeah, you know this one, because I've seen it quite a bit. According to a lot of sources I've talked to, and believe me, I've done some hunts for some plants. Don't worry, it's weird. He looked at me. Hunts for plants? I didn't realize the hunters could fetch things. No, what I mean is that there's the plant people that, well, it's just, you can understand it. They're plants. They're all very annoying, and they all get everywhere. I've done hunts for plant people and killed them all. And florist will not shut up about this specific flower, the orris. But what makes the orris so special? Well, it grows in any condition, as you can clearly see. I've seen it in the mountains, where it snows, so very clearly the legends are true. So, what exactly does it mean? What do you mean? I mean, think about it. A dead area with life that still beats in it. I kneeled next to him, said, "Is there something you want to discuss?" A long pause for at least, I'd say, 2 minutes. And he took a deep breath and said, "Why do you hunt?" I looked at him. What? Why do I I guess the main reason I hunt is because, well, I want to defend the world from monsters and destroy them wherever they are. No. Not why the hunters hunt. Why do you specifically hunt? I had my reasons, but I didn't want to share them with him. He said, I don't know. I really don't. Part of me probably thinks this is what was right. At the time, I needed a roof over my head. Hunters offered, and I went running. But I joined the Pale Order at first. It wasn't a pretty order, believe me. He said, what exactly made the Pale Order so bad? Well, it's not too different from what Dalen did to you. For example, he robbed you of all your humanity, did he not? He nodded. That's exactly what the Pale Order did to me. Pale Order robbed me of all my humanity. It's only after a few years in the Omen Order that I was able to start getting it back. I'm not a people person, as you can obviously see. I like doing the job and I want to get it done. But isn't humanity part of the reason why the hunters fight? Yes and no, it's complicated to explain. Believe me, if it was so simple, we would have more hunters. But I guess the best way to say it is that hunters are drawn to it. That's the only way I can describe it. Drawn. Yeah. It's like a call to you. You don't know why you're answering, but you do. So, what exactly is your plan? My plan? What happens when we kill Dalen? When we kill Dalen? Question I asked myself multiple times. I said, probably just go to the next hunt. Is that really all you do? He said, yeah, it's pretty much all hunters ever do. We don't have lives outside the hunter's order. Sounds like the Pale Order is the one that's lacking in humanity. Now, what about you? What are you going to do when Dalen's dead? And he said, if. I realized that telling you that we're going to kill Dalen is not accurate information. We don't know if we will or not. We're trying everything in our power, but it doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Dalen has got an army by his back, and we got nothing. Well, we have you. You're a source of information, and information could be our key. Hunters have had good runs, for lack of a better word, killing just off information alone. If you have the right information, any monster will bend. Any? You sound like you come from experience. I've had my fair share of knowledge and information being passed to me, and I make good on that information. But you never answered my question. What are you going to do when we kill Dalen? Well, I don't know. Fighting is all I've ever known. That's impossible. You spent your entire life in that castle. How in the world have you only known fighting? Well, one, I'm a soldier. Just like you, and just like the Hunter's Order. Second, I was only birthed a few months ago. What? A few months ago? He nodded. No. That's not how that works. What do you mean you were birthed a few months ago? I was resurrected. My mind began to... What? You were resurrected? And you're not a zombie? I guess not. Okay, there's so many questions I have to ask. How did you come back, for example? Well, I don't know. I really don't know. But I knew that I was forced to fight against something I didn't understand. Okay, next question. We'll discuss the fact that you were rebirthed, for lack of a better word. Let's go to another question. Okay. Why did you want to escape? Why did you want to kill Dalen? What was the point of it? I don't know. I mean, Sarah told me I was going to die by him, but that's probably not the reason I wanted to kill him. I always had this odd feeling around him. Something wasn't right. So you left? He nodded. I knew I had to kill him. And what of Sarah, your sister? She stayed behind to save Abby's life. But I thought you saved her. There was a device that we used. It allowed us to fly over the battlefield. We only held 2 people. Even though she helped us both escape, she stayed behind to feed us information. Like you said, information can be somewhere. I guess that's true. But that's just sad. I mean, honestly, your sister is willing to do everything in her power, fight against her own father. Someone who she has probably been with for a long time, and she's probably planned this for quite a while. You have no idea. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Might as well. So what's your plan? I really don't know. But if we do survive and me and Sarah are able to escape, we don't know. I mean, honestly, at this point, you will probably hunt us down. Give me a reason to, and I will. The Hunter's Order doesn't attack people who don't give us a good reason. If they kill someone or draw too much attention to themselves, then yeah, we'll get involved. Don't do that. I shouldn't have given them that information. I still don't know if I can trust them or not. I want to, but I don't know. Then he said, okay. Then his eyes opened wider. I have an idea. What are you talking about? About the hunt we're on. I have an idea. Okay. You're not gonna like it. He told me the idea and it immediately was against it. Are you out of your mind? There's no way in a million years anyone would agree to that. Come on, it's the only thing we have. They want the baby? I say we give it to them. Connor, there's no way in a million years the Queen is going to agree. She doesn't have a choice. We either do this, or they continue to be haunted by these specters, he said in air quotes. And I knew deep down inside he was right. This isn't going to end until we do something drastic. We told the Queen, and she said, no, why would I ever do that? Because we don't have choices here. We always have choices. Your investigation is to find these creatures and destroy them. Yes, but we don't really have anything else. They want your baby. Let's give it to them. And then when they come for it, We have them red-handed, okay? That's all we have. She took a deep sigh and said, "Can you guarantee her safety?" "I won't be far, I promise." "Sam, you and the Queen are going to stay on lookout. When I give the signal, you take the baby and you run as far and as fast as you can. I'm not leaving you to die, Connor. You don't really have options here." I sighed and said, "Fine. Let's do this. It's going to be a mistake, but again, Connor, your head if this goes wrong." He said, "Okay. Let's do this." A few hours later, and it was in the dead of night. Baby was in a small box. I was, again, not terribly far. The Queen was right next to me. She would not leave her baby alone with us. Or leave her baby alone with us and trying to draw out something. Granted, that's what we did a few days ago, but I digress. We just stared at the baby. She began to cry. She was probably freezing. The room was cold. Then, several figures appeared. Interesting. Okay, then. His plan was working. It was quite impressive, I'm not going to lie. I didn't expect this to work at all. In fact, I expected it to fail miserably. Then one of them said, "It seems like the humans, they have officially given up." "Yes, they have. The baby is ours. Let us leave." Then Connor fell from the ceiling and kicked the box, sliding it over towards us. I'm assuming that was the signal because I grabbed the baby and I started running. I heard the sound of swords fighting and clashing against each other. I'm fairly certain that's exactly what Connor's plan was. Draw them out, cut them off. We continued to run as fast as we could. I handed the Queen her baby so I could draw my bow. Then, before we reached the front gate, we saw him. What looked like the leader, dressed in that white garb. He said, "Hand us the child, and you will be spared." The Queen held her baby closer to her chest. Then I drew an arrow and said, "Not going to happen." "Very well, then I'll just take it." And he charged at me with lightning speed, as a snake person would. I loosened an arrow and it skimmed him. He continued to move quickly towards me, and I continued to fire arrow after arrow. I hit his shoulder, leaving a little bit of a blood stain on his clothes. And I fired again and again. And I hid. "You don't even know what you have there, do you?" I didn't say a word. I knew he was trying to draw me out. It wasn't going to work on me. "Come now. Release the child and this will all be over." Then I said, "How about this? You lean over and I shoot you in the head and you die. How does that sound for a good idea?" Then he appeared right behind me. It doesn't sound like what I would want to be. He threw me on the ground, bit me in the shoulder. Blast it all! Before he could do a killing blow, I heard, "Hey!" He walked over into the moonlight. Connor was holding a snake and said, "This what you're after? Come on. We both know what we're going to do now. Let's just cut to the chase. The snake person said, "Yes, I agree. Let us get this over with." And the two clashed. I wanted to help, but my arm was incapacitated due to the bite. I ran over to the queen to make sure she was okay. Baby was fine and she was okay. And the two figures in the moonlight fought. It was almost rhythmic, like they were dancing with each other. When one would make a movement, the other would counter perfectly. The two were pretty skilled. I'll give the snake person that. "Connor, watch out. He has a bite." And Connor fought continuously, the blades dancing in the moonlight. I could see sparks from time to time. I was concerned that they were going to set the building on fire, so I stayed close just to monitor the sparks. And to also give the illusion that I was trying to help, but I think he knew that I couldn't do that. It was a battle of attrition now. Two were skilled warriors. Now it's just a question of who's going to give up first. Connor then had his arms incapacitated, and he was about to be killed. A bite in the shoulder immediately was probably the biggest mistake this creature ever made. He tried to do what I did to me, and that was his biggest mistake. Connor then grabbed the lips of the creature and started forcing it off of him, yelling as loud as he could, and then launching him onto the ground. He then picked up his blade, where the bite was, so his arms weren't incapacitated, and he started slicing and cutting and just trying to desecrate this body as fast as he possibly could. He then cut the head off clean. We sat there for a minute. I ran over and said, "Good job. You managed to kill a snake. What about the others?" "That head tells you everything. You killed them all? There was like 5 of them." He nodded. "Did you receive a cut?" "A few scrapes and bruises. Nothing ain't gonna stop me. We should probably get that blood deal dealt with right now." Before anything could happen, my vision began to fade, and I fell over, passing out. I woke up in the Huntsman's Keep infirmary. Connor was just sitting there. "You okay?" I nodded. "What happened?" "You passed out due to a combined effort of exhaustion, blood loss, and a small venom that he injected into you." "Wait, didn't all that happen to you?" "Yeah. So why didn't you pass out?" "How did we get back to Huntsman's Keep?" "I carried you." "How did you not pass out? You had everything that I had, and probably even worse." He shrugged and said, "As far as I'm aware, Abby's theory on it is that my nightmare blood is already foreign to my body, so it fought against the venom because it was probably trying to stay in control." "So your nightmare blood kept you safe from venom?" "Of course it does, because why not?" He shrugged and said, "I was hoping you'd wake up sooner, because Abby and Zach are in an argument. Again." "You're kidding me. Again?" And then he said, "Do those two ever not fight about anything?" "Only when it's good." "What is it this time?" "They wouldn't tell me. Said that they would only talk to a hunter." And then I nodded and said, "From the past few days, not only did you kill the leader of a very skilled group of snakes, but you also carried me on your back. you also decided to just, ignore a venom, I'd say you've earned your hunter's marks, regardless of what Zach says. Now let's go get some information about this. What is going on and why is it important? Come on. We traveled to the huntsman's office and talked to Zach and Abby. Their yelling was quite loud. And even in the muffle I could hear, "You don't understand. This is our only opportunity." "Oh, I understand perfectly. But this is too much of a risk. Are you willing to let this scare you? It's not going to affect the hunter's order. End of discussion." Very clearly, they were in a pretty heated debate. Then I walked in. It's about finally time you woke up. Could you please tell Zach that we need to start taking a few more risks in order to understand that this is never going to end? If we don't do something, the war is never going to end. And I said, and then can you tell her that we need to look out for ourselves? Without the hunter's order, and with more casualties, there won't be a hunter's order. So the world is going to suffer. Yeah, about that. I don't understand exactly what your problem is. You're sitting here trying to justify this action, when in actuality, it's the only way we can make this right. Yeah, you guys too. No, I'm not going to do this with you. Everything that we are working for is to rebuild our order after Dalen killed it. Maybe because it's probably about time someone finally stood up to Dalen and say, "This is enough. Guys, enough." I finally interrupted. "Listen, what is going on?" A journal appeared, and it was titled Subject 8, aka our new friend. Connor then walked in. "I heard my name? I thought you don't go by Subject 8 anymore. When someone talks about me, I'd want to know. This book appeared for you. I dare not open it, because it might be a trap." Or Subject 8. Could be Dalen, or it could be Sarah. Sarah only referred to me as 8. She doesn't know I am Connor now. We need to find out what it is. This is a joke. We don't know what's in that book. And Connor grabbed it and said, "Oh, for the love of all that is good in this world." And he said, Subject 1 was a complete success. She was brought back perfectly. Abby said, confused. Subject 2 was a disaster. I took care of them quickly. I think this is Dalen's notes on subjects. But listen to this. The catalyst of Subject 8 was quite interesting. It worked too well, in my opinion. It's really a few days ago. It's just something. Why would she give you? Why would anyone give you this? I asked, trying to figure out a way to make sense of the situation we're currently in. I don't know. Maybe she's trying to tell us something. I saw an eared page, and then I flipped to it. Subject 6. This is odd. Subject 6, Catalyst, was too aggressive. But the information with it was too valuable. I locked him in his cell. Of course, naturally, I know where it is. There's a symbol here. Looks like a moon. So if you find that symbol, find Subject 8. He's not dead. How do we know this isn't by Dalen trying to draw you out? I guess we're going to have to take a chance. We are not going to do anything. You are going to do that. He said, fine. I'll get my brother back. And my sister. Then he left the office. Well, that was quite remarkable, I said. We all know that he's not going to stop until, well, he has what he wants. Yeah, what he wants is to get us all killed, apparently. Oh, for the love, will you please just give him a chance? He did really well on the hunt. Killed every monster single-handedly. Zack then sighed and said, "Fine, he gets a chance. But if he so much as hurts anyone, it's on both of you." We both nodded, and Abby said, "I'm glad that we finally came to an agreement." And I said, "Listen, what he is not human. He isn't a monster either. Only that he's half monster." Half monster. Oh, that's phenomenal, because last time I checked, that wasn't a good idea. Listen, I know that this seems like a really bad idea, but we really don't have a choice in the matter. Let's just give him that shot he desperately wants. Let's make it right and kill Dalen once and for all. Because with him, I legitimately think we can win this fight.